That looks like a pretty big bear.
Very big. I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall, Lauren, and in the home video you're about to see, that bear can reach up into this tree higher than I can reach to begin pulling down these branches. He eventually finds some berries in the tree, a little dessert after a big lunch. Very violent. I mean, they're still now out here putting boards up because the whole front of this house is destroyed. But if you look down here, you can see the bumper of that car is still in the front yard. That mom and her 3-year-old were standing waiting for the school bus right in the road here where you see that spot. If you look up just beyond that, you might be able to make out the tire tracks. That's where the car veered off the road here and slammed into them. Right here is where the launch director is positioned in those final moments before liftoff. We're told it's so quiet in here you can hear a pin drop. A few spots down from him is the public affairs officer, that person who's on a microphone famously saying 5, 4, 3,
2, 1. 0 and liftoff, the final liftoff of Atlantis.
As you can see, these things are just running all over the neighborhood, and they're big. I mean, that one there is probably about 20 pounds or more, and they're just on the loose. Well, Lauren, it appears that someone tried to figure out where Special Agent Danny Banks lived, went over to his house, and then took the front page of his investigative report, and on the FDLE badge right here, drew a crosshair, kind of threatening there, and then left it right in the windshield where that agent could see it. That person then took a knife and slashed all 4 tires of the agent's personal car.
There's no question that that was clearly motivated by the teenager's death.
Lauren, the seller admits this is supposed to look like Trayvon Martin. Now, this is an exact replica of what's been sold online. It's meant to be hung at a gun range like this here and used for target practice. In fact, we're told at least 2 Florida gun dealers have already stocked up on these targets. There's no face inside the hoodie, but the bag of Skittles and the bottle of iced tea makes it clear this paper target designed for shooting practice is supposed to be Trayvon Martin. For just $8 plus $7.50 shipping, sharpshooters have been able to buy a 10-pack of the targets online.
That's ridiculous. I mean, people making money off of this.
In Sanford, where George Zimmerman shot and killed Trayvon Martin, people are horrified.
Yeah, I mean, it's sick. It's sick.
According to this advertisement that had been posted on a popular firearms auction website, the sellers say they support Zimmerman and believe he is innocent and that he shot a thug. What do you think of that?
This is the highest level of disgust and the, lowest level of civility.
Zimmerman's attorney, Mark O'Mara, says he worries how Trayvon Martin's parents will react to this, and he's concerned it will inflame the community even further, hurting his client.
It's this type of hatred, because that's what that is. That is hate mongering. That's going to make it more difficult to actually try this case.
We still don't know who's making these targets, but in a lengthy email exchange, the seller tells me, quote, "My main motivation was to make money off the controversy." The seller would not disclose how many have been made, but says the response is overwhelming. I sold out in 2 days.
I hope that there is a crime that we could charge that person who made that with. I'm not sure what it is, but we need to come up with one, because that's disgusting.
Now, earlier today, the person who's selling these told me via email that they were still available for purchase and that he was still making them. That was before I told him I was a reporter. When I finally revealed who I was, his story changed and he said that he is no longer going to be selling these. By the way, I want to point out we have left repeated messages today with the attorneys representing Trayvon Martin's family, but they just haven't gotten back to us yet. Lauren?
All right, Mike, the targets were designed to be used by gun owners. Did you talk to any gun owners tonight?
Well, I can tell you that gun enthusiast websites are already buzzing about these targets here. Some people want to buy them, but I would say a vast majority are sickened by this, even those who support George Zimmerman and just say this is disgusting. Lauren, this sounds like one of those comedy movies where you see the frantic husband racing to get his pregnant wife to the hospital in time. As they came down from the Osteen Enterprise area in Volusia County down I-4, they actually thought about stopping at a hospital in Orange City, but they wanted to get here to Florida Hospital Altamont because they like the doctors here. Roundabout Longwood, though, they realized that wasn't going to happen.
Oh, my gosh.
Local 6 was there as John Tester held his newborn son for the first time since helping deliver baby Colton at a gas station early this morning.
He's a perfectionist at everything, so I knew he could do it, so he can do anything.
Shelley Tester started having strong contractions around midnight on their drive down I-4 from Volusia County. She knew they'd never make it to Florida Hospital Altamont.
I told him to pull off, get off the road, pull somewhere. I didn't care where.
John Tester says he was drawn to the bright lights at the mobile gas station on State Road 434 in Longwood. Surveillance cameras captured him running around to the passenger side and helping his wife deliver their son. The whole time he was on the phone with a 911 dispatcher.
I got here, I had the baby in my hands. I was really, very fortunate.
Before paramedics could arrive, the couple heard their son cry out for the first time.
It was something I didn't think I could do, honestly. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I think the adrenaline took over and helped with the delivery.
As you can see, the 7-pound, 7-ounce bundle of excitement is healthy and doing great and will always have a unique story to tell on his birthday.
And I was just praying that everything would work out, and I knew he would. I mean, I knew he'd pull through. And at a time like that, but it was definitely something we'll never ever forget.
Baby Colton has two big brothers. Shelley tells me their oldest, she was actually in labor with for several hours. The middle child, he came a lot quicker, but obviously this newborn, he's out to break some family records, Lauren.
Oh. Mike, I always imagine what it's like when you actually know that your wife is in labor and you're the one who has to get her to the hospital. Did he tell you what that was like, trying to drive down I-4 in the morning?
I'm going to trust that he was exaggerating when he told me the speed he was going down I-4, but he said he intentionally tried to get pulled over by the police, past some state troopers, hoping they'd pull him over and would know how to deliver a baby. And for once, they actually ignored him and let him keep speeding by. So that's when he had to take matters into his own hands there, Lauren.
Incredible story.
Casey Anthony will be brought into the courtroom around 2:15 with a jury having reached a verdict in this case. There you're taking a live look inside the courtroom now. Our first pictures from inside the courtroom, and we see George and Cindy Anthony sitting in their normal seats right there. This is their daughter. Her life is potentially on the line based on this decision that the jury is going to make. Of course, first this jury must find Casey Anthony guilty of first-degree murder before this proceeds into the penalty phase, where this jury would be asked to make a recommendation on whether or not Casey Anthony should die for that crime. We don't even know yet whether they're going to come back with a first-degree murder conviction at all. Here comes Casey Anthony walking into the courtroom. Casey Anthony entering now, about to hear her fate in less than 15 minutes.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
And Lauren, let me point out, those 4 counts of lying to law enforcement are a first-degree misdemeanor. They carry a maximum of 1 year in jail. Not even prison, but jail. And in theory, the judge could give her time served. And something very unique about this case, Tony, this is the first trial by internet, I think, that has happened in history. And in the past, some could accuse the media of putting forth a filter and only presenting to you through the TV camera the information that the media wanted to put a spin on it. But this is the first case where all of these documents that Tony's been researching, there have been people out there in their pajamas looking at the computers. They see everything that we see. Maybe not everybody, but there is a group of what we have been called web sleuthers who have been following this very close, and so they see the same evidence that all of us see. We are now looking at some video exclusive to Local 6 of Casey Anthony's defense team celebrating at a restaurant. They've been going to this restaurant right around the corner just about every day, and this is exclusive video that you're seeing of Casey Anthony's defense team, in essence, having a party, celebrating. Until we hear from these jurors, possibly someday, we'll never know what it was that pushed this over the edge for them. But you talk about they saw the evidence. They may have also seen what was the lack of evidence. And the one glaring hole in the state's case was the fact, by no fault of the state, that they did not know cause of death. They did not know how Kaylee died. They based it on the evidence around there that it was homicide, but with no cause of death. You just got to wonder if that was Could they not rule out accidental drowning, even if they didn't buy into the whole idea that George was there and the meter reader staged the scene? Was there still this question of how Kaylee died? So as they leave the White Room there, never to return again, with a space shuttle there poised on the verge of another exciting mission. And, personally, career-wise, this has got to be difficult, because when they know they head down that elevator for the last time, they're leaving their jobs up there with it. But also just having done that for so many years, each one of those individuals, to the pride that they took in their job, and being able to work on this American icon, I imagine they are choked up just as probably a parent sending a kid off to college or something, that knowing that this is it. Take a look at her. Look at that bird sitting on the launch pad there. The last time you are ever going to see a space shuttle poised on the launch pad here at Kennedy Space Center. 4 astronauts strapped inside, ready for an adventure of a lifetime. A trip to the International Space Station and a trip into the history books. The final crew to fly aboard a space shuttle and then land. The concern, of course, is this being a return to launch site. If there were to be some issue where Atlantis would need to return here to the Kennedy Space Center, the weather conditions have to be just right for that. And although weather is still a go at this period, there is now this what appears to be the formation of some rain showers just north of Merritt Island, and that could cause a problem and a violation of their flight rules here.
It never gets old.
And the goosebumps as you watch it, and to be honored to be listening to the play-by-play with Senator Nelson here, and to put your mind inside that cockpit as Atlantis is cruising to the heavens for the final time, to be one of those 4 astronauts on board right now, and to experience something that nobody will experience quite the same way again. Truly an American moment that we've all witnessed out here.